I'm feeling better, as you probably can tell. Um, and I wanted to give you a little advice. And sorry, got distracted there for a second. Um, oh, look, some brooms. That's just getting ready. Renaissance Festival. On the 7th, I go to set up. But anyway, that's not what I want to talk about. I want to talk about irritability. Yes, again, irritability in manic or even hypomanic. I have two different levels of irritability. I'm not irritable when I'm depressed because I'm too heavy and dull and to I don't have the energy to be irritable. So I have a low grade irritability that can be irrational. And then with hypomania, and then with mania, it's all out of control. I have no idea. I take that back. I have an idea of what's happening, but I can't stop it. It just erupts. It it's just horrible. So I'm going to talk about an experience I just had and I recognized as being something that's common for me. And so maybe you might find yourself in this situation as well, similar, and this might help. When I am feeling hypomanic, not necessarily overwhelmed, hypomanic, I'm impatient. And when I set my mind that I'm going to do this thing and something goes wrong and it ruins my flow of this idea I have to do whatever it is I want to do. And so I go straight for the extreme solution rather than the thoughtful, reasonable solution. For example, and this is like all one story, I have an iPod Nano. I like it. I don't want any other kind of iPod or MP3 player. 7th generation. This is what I like. This is what I work with. Don't mess it up. Okay, and so I had a green one. This one. And I say had because I thought I lost it. And this was like a year ago, maybe, a long time ago. And it happened to hit me in one of those moments of hypomania, and I just wasn't having it. I had to have this in my life now. I put it in my car for music to play. I fall asleep to the music. It's just, it felt so uncomfortable not having it. And I didn't want just an iPod. I wanted my green iPod Nano. I wanted that thing. I have the same problem with phones, but They change like every month. Anyway, I'm talking about iPods. So I freaked out so much, so fast. To make myself feel better, I bought a new one. I did not wait long enough. I only waited long enough to search in the places it would be: car, purse, bedroom, bedside table, in the bed, you know, pockets. Um, and so it was only like 2 days. And I always go to somebody stole it out of my car first, is my first thought. But that's only because people steal stuff from our yard and that. So I have a reason to think that. But anyway, because I was in that frenzy of not be, I forgot what I was going to do with it. I used to wear it while I worked, when I worked at the animal shelter, and it just disrupted my life so much. But I only gave it, a couple days. And the only thing that was going to make me feel better, that another one was coming, since I couldn't find this one. And they're like over $100 if you want to get refurbished and stuff. They're between 80 and 90, so it's not, you know, just, it's not cheap. I wouldn't say. So I got, I could only find the silver one that I liked, and so I bought that. Not a day later, I found the green one behind my laundry hamper on the floor. So it came out of a pocket or whatever. So I thought, well, okay, I'll have two. I keep one in my car to play the music and one for indoor stuff. And then I started noticing recently that this one, the silver one, has these weird lines on it. And I thought, oh my God, it's getting ready to die. Now I have become accustomed to two iPods. And if this one dies or breaks, dies on me, I'm going to have to order another one, because now my life revolves around these two iPods. It's like my day. Here's the difference. On a regular day, regular mood day, I misplaced something, I can't find it. I think I'll come across it on accident later. Move on, improvise. And gosh darn, that sucks, and pain in the butt, and go about my business. Take, the next steps to whatever my day is. When I get manic, hypomanic, I get very rigid, and everything must be. When I was in the hospital and I was writing, they, I had these pencils, these mechanical pencils, and I had this rainbow colored lined paper, and I insisted that that was the only thing I could write with and write on, or my writing would suck. It was the magic element, and I become very rigid, and they took it away from me because, and I would ask for it. And one time they couldn't find my pencil. They tried to give me some other pencil, or at some point they said I couldn't have a pencil, because it was dangerous, and I freaked out. That was probably one of my top worst, probably my worst manic episode. Um, I flipped out. I was dead set on this paper, and I mean, very rigid. So, um, even if I'm a little hypomanic, that rigidity comes out. So, I am like straddling depression, normal, and hypomania because of the stress of the Renaissance Festival. Um, and so today, and my mom was out of town, which doesn't help because sometimes she can help me come down. I I couldn't get this silver one. See, I was gonna put Renaissance music on this since the green one is the car one, and therefore can only play music in the car because I'm rigid. I can't take it with me around. Now I have outside iPod and inside iPod kind of thing going. And I was just so getting really paranoid about these lines and that it was gonna die on me. And then what was I gonna do? And then one day I was going to start it up and play it for while I was in the shower. I like to play music, gets me moving for the day, and the screen went blank, blackness, and I was like freaking out. And I'm like, right now I don't have the money to see. I skip steps. I go straight to I have to buy a new one. I have to buy a new one. And right now, I really don't have the money. You know, I'm putting all my big purchases till after the festival because then I'll know where I stand money wise. So I'm like, but what am I going to do with just one? I can't take this other one back and forth. You know, my brain won't do that. And it was just blank. I was freaking out, and I was angry. I go straight to eBay, and I'm trying to look up. Well, if I get a refurbished, even a used, maybe it'll be cheaper. I'm sorry, but my my throat's really tight from talking. That's my tremor. It's in my vocal cords. So I'm already shopping on eBay, and I even looked up the model number because I want the same thing. And then something, I was sitting at my computer thinking about how much this sucks. That I cannot bend just a little and own one iPod. And I was just sitting there feeling sort of uncomfortable and defeated and frustrated because I know it's unreasonable. But I know the only thing that's going to make me feel better is to have two again. I don't know if like 2 years from now I'm going to need 4 to feel comfortable. And that's not the only item that I do this with. So I just like all of a sudden, like I said, I'm straddling normal mood and hypomania. And so I think like my normal brain parts let slip the idea that maybe I should look up on the internet my iPod won't turn on. So I did, and it says, okay, press this button and this button at the same time. And poof, it came on. And I have all my music on both iPods. Here. Yeah, so they're all ready to go. And then I just realized how if I had been just a little nudge towards a little more into a hypomanic state, I would end up with 3. And I thought, what would I do? I mean, I could return it. I might give it to my mom. She has got like an iPod from like Jurassic Park era. It is so old. It's not a phone. It doesn't do anything else. And it's like this big. And it's clunky, and it has the dial with your thumb. And it just has this itty bitty screen at the top. It's like ancient. And I'm like, I wish I could do that more. It would save me so much, because that's not the impulse buying. Impulse buying is different. This is, I'm so rigid. That broom behind me that is leaning forward is driving me insane. I'm gonna have to fix it because it looks all crooked. Anyway, so that's the iPod story. Not the iPod story, but I wish I have things. I have a second laptop sitting right next to me. If something goes wrong, I just buy a new one, because my brain can't figure out how to problem solve when I'm high or low. And, so I wish that wasn't a thing. I wish I could, all the time when something, like just before this, I was doing fine. My phone, I couldn't get on the internet. I could get on Wi-Fi when I was home, but when I left the house, I could not get calls or make calls or get, like any YouTube or Instagram, nothing. No service, it would say. And I was not having a conniption fit, which told me I was in a normal mood state. Because if I had not been, who knows, I might have, I pull over and just cry or throw it out the window, or what I would probably be doing is, in fact, honestly, in my mind, all I kept thinking was, when am I going to fit time into going to AT&T and getting a new phone? Because that's what's going to, they're going to have to fix it, and they're going to tell me they can't fix it. But I didn't. I waited. And miraculously, after 2 days, boom, it was back. So, anyway, anytime you start to feel that kind of like discomfort, that rigid, must have it this way, try to stop and think about it. Is that a reality, or is that rigidity And what what would you do in the same situation if you were not hypomanic? Now, obviously, when you start hitting mania, you start losing the ability to understand that you are in fact manic. So I think it might only work with hypomania. I want to take a few minutes to talk about the Renaissance Festival. In case you don't know, I I have been a patron for many years, over 10 years. I get the whole season pass, with all the goodies, and spend lots and lots of money. I save up all year. And everybody kept complimenting on my broom that I made. And so I thought, I'm going to make these brooms. I put them on Etsy, but they sold, and I got traffic, like people looked, but it cost so much because they aren't like little brooms, they're like life-size brooms. We're like talking Harry Potter life-size brooms. And some of them are a little more decorative, and some of them are more fantasy. And so that wasn't a real. I sold some, but it just cost so much to ship them. And so I thought I would like to have the experience. That's number one. Have the experience of I'm not paying for a booth because it's very expensive. I have a tent, and it's not a cheesy pop-up white canopy. It's this forest green top with these pretty yellowish sides. That's a nice tent, and I have it decorated and everything. It's nice, and I'm just doing one weekend at. It's called Trade Winds, and it's for guests. It's for people who aren't going to have a booth through the whole thing. And here, as in many others, it's like 8 weekends in a row, starting in late August, I think, and ends in the beginning of October. But I thought, I just want the experience, see what this is like, and see if it's fun for me. And so it was a big challenge. Lots of paperwork that was very difficult. I have a lot of trouble with paperwork, things that take steps. And that is from the brain damage from ECT. And I managed to do it all by myself. So that's a big proud moment. And I'm pretty sure I have spent more than I will make. But I saved up. I worked dog training gigs out my ass to earn the money to do it. And then maybe if I do so and it is enjoyable, then I'll start sooner in making, so I won't be in such a rush, and saving to pay for a booth, because then you have electricity. So luckily I have an invitation from someone that has a booth. See, it's like 2.5 hours away, and it just would be crazy to drive there, set up, do the festival, pack up, go home. Most people stay in a hotel nearby, and they just zip up their tent or shut up their booth. But a lot of people just camp. But the booths have electricity, and the tents do not. And I had a sort of secret special message from someone with a booth that said that I can stay if it's cold and I want to. I can come and stay in their booth at night. Um, the other challenge will for me will be that I am on a very strict special diet. I cannot eat um, gluten, fructose, lactose, and a bunch of other things. So, so I'm gonna have to like pack up my own food and then eat something like I don't know what. Anyway, um, I can drink diet soda, not regular soda. I drink water. Um, Like also the other challenge is I have a little car, and I don't think I'd be very good at driving, or I don't want to spend the money on the U-Haul type thing. So tomorrow I'm gonna see just how realistic it is to get my stuff, tables, um, my clothes, and my personal needs and all of that, and see if I can wedge in every little nook and cranny of my car and see what that leaves me with. Because I don't have a helper. I wish I did. Um, and so it's coming up. I go on the 7th, which is a Friday, to set up and open. It's open Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And I am having panic attacks. um, I did talk to my doctor about increasing my Xanax. Used to have. I take 2 at bedtime regularly every night. Um, and I had 1 as needed during the day. And that's, if I usually use that for a speaking engagement or a new client for dog training. Um, uh, but I called and I asked, could I please temporarily get this increased to twice a day as needed? And that was fine because they know I'm not interested in abusing the Xanax. I needed it while my mom was gone out of town recently, and I really needed it while she was gone because when she's gone, everything feels disjointed, and yeah, like all my joints are coming out of place or something. It just, the flow isn't there, and it makes me feel like I'm floundering, and I don't really like to take it because then it makes me kind of drowsy, and then I can't make brooms. But anyway, I have made enough brooms. In fact, I have enough that I can set aside about 5 and say, okay, I'm not taking these. So, um, so that's where it is. I have put the painting on hold until after so I can relax. I'm not doing much dog training until after. Then I'm going to start putting my flyers out again and advertise. I have a facility I can do indoor training now. So, okay, so that's that. And I'll probably update you again as I get closer to the date. to let you know if how freaked out I am getting about this all by myself. I'm doing it all by myself. I'm 51 and I'm terrified. It's like my first day of junior high was like I just stood in the hall and cried my eyes out. I just sobbed because I was so overwhelmed. I'm going to leave you with one thing. I found these at Dollar General. They're the cutest things I ever did see in my life. Paper clips shaped like little dogs. Aren't they cute? They'd be so cute to use for my clients. So, alright, I'm going to go get a bath and go to bed and sleep a lot because I'm really tired. Good night.